So let me, as we do this, go through it and create an imaginary report while we're going along, and then it'll all make sense. So let's say, for example, I'm going to make a report on so-called time management, and I'm going to call it the 7 big mistakes, the 7 big time management mistakes, how to avoid them and squeeze more out of every single day. So that's going to be the title. And I know that title works because I've actually created a report like that in the past, and I know time management, so-called, is a really hot topic and one that people will respond to well in the marketplace, particularly, and if you have time management as part of your offering, if you teach people how to be more productive in some way, then using a free time management report, I think you'll find you can get lots of leads into the top of your marketing funnel. So this is how I'm going to start off, and I've made some notes here. So I'm typing away now and starting the context of my free report. Here it goes. As you and I know, there is no such thing as time management. There is only the 24 hours we have every day, the 168 hours we have every week, and, looks it up, 8,736 hours that we have every year. We can't store it, we can't save it, and we can't use tomorrow or yesterday's. We have to be in the moment. Come with me now on a journey of discovery as I share with you, so I'm still typing away, as I share with you a number, in fact 7 key mistakes that people make with so-called time management and how you can avoid them so you can squeeze more out of every single day. You see, that's the start, that's the context. Now somebody who's reading this, or even if this was part of the marketing, goes, oh yeah, I know where this is going now. It all makes sense, doesn't it? All makes sense. So the second part then, and I'm going to do this as individual mistakes, the 7 mistakes. The next one is the challenge. So if I've set the context, I'm now going to talk about one challenge. So here I'll write it again. Perhaps the biggest challenge, and I'll stop typing now, perhaps the biggest challenge that most people in business particularly face in their lives is this one. It's email. Research shows that people are using at least 13% of their working day answering unnecessary email. Now, if we're looking at that 13%, and what I'm going to do now is segue into the can of worms. Now, the can of worms is the problem, or problems plural, that's why I say can of worms, created by the challenge. Right, so here we go. And of course this means if they're wasting 13% of their day, that's about an hour every single day. That's at least 5 hours a week. That's 20 hours in the average month. That's at least 2 hours a month. That's 24 days in a year that they waste. That's a whole month every single year, totally and utterly wasted by answering unnecessary email. Just think, over a 12-year period, somebody has thrown away one whole year of their life. So you see what I'm doing there, aren't you? I'm building up the pain, because you always want to build up the pain before we come up with a solution. Now, the next bit is the countermeasure. So this is the solution to the can of worms. So we've stated the context, we've stated the challenge, we've stated the can of worms. I only used one major worm and expanded the worm. And now we're going to come into the countermeasure. So let's write about the countermeasure. Well, switch it off. Make a promise to yourself. It's a simple solution really, isn't it? Make a promise to yourself that you'll check your email only 3 times a day. First thing in the morning when you come in to make sure anything that's come overnight you can deal with. Half an hour before the lunch break and half an hour before the end of the day. And then that's it, and let go of it. Now we're coming into the consequences, and these are positive consequences of the countermeasure. So now we'd say, so let's imagine that your time is worth, let's say, $100, just $100 an hour, and it must be at least worth that. If it's worth $100 an hour, and you're currently wasting 5 hours a week, that's $500 per week. That's $25,000 a year. So that means over a 10-year period, that would be $250,000. And if we took that money, that actual money, and invested it over that 10-year period at a reasonable rate of return, we could probably even double it. So that's $500,000 of our personal time that we've wasted. You see how this is working. And of course, the last bit is then the next C, the call to action. So then you would write, and I'm working on just one mistake, So this is precisely what to do. And then you'd give a list of the exact actions that somebody must take in order to get the benefit, the outcome that you want. So you can see how simple this is really, can't you? You start with the context, so get people's minds in the right place. You tell them one of the challenges. You tell them what happens because of that, the can of worms that gets open because they've got that challenge. You give them the countermeasure to the can of worms. You give them the positive consequences of the ideas that you're suggesting, and then you tell them exactly what to do. And you take that and you either use that for the whole of the report, or you take that and you use it for each of the 7 mistakes. How simple is that? Don't make the report too long. It does not want to be too long. It's crazy to be too long. It just isn't worth it. So let me put that one over there. So the next question we're going to ask ourselves is exactly this. How many pages? Well, as few as possible. As few as it is to make your point. You don't need these 100-page, 200-page, 300-page reports that I see about the place. A 2-page report would be fantastic. A 10-page report would be fantastic. And I tell you why. Because of this. It's the importance of the title. Now, I know, and again, when I share with you on a different video the exact ultimate lead generation system, I'll share with you the key question that people get wrong on this when they follow. In fact, I'll tell it you now, but I'll go into more detail. I didn't want to put too much salt in there. When people phone up and talk to somebody and say, have you downloaded that free report? Yes. Have you read it yet? That's a question you never ever ask. You never ask if somebody's read it. And I'll tell you why, because they won't have. And if you ask somebody if they've read it and they haven't, you put a stutter in the system. So you don't say that. What you do say is this: I don't suppose you've had a chance to read it yet, have you? Let me say it again. I don't suppose you've had a chance to read it yet, have you? That's the way you do it. Again, I'll go into more detail. So the title is all important because it's the title that somebody is going to respond to. My computer's still going there. Yes, it is. So, here's some titles. The 7 big mistakes most business owners are unwittingly making, costing them a fortune in lost turnover, lost profits, and even worse, lost personal cash, and how to avoid them. Now, that breaks all the rules. It's massive as a title, but it works. This is the title that got the 1,851 people to respond off Brian's list, and I've had thousands of leads in the top of my marketing funnel from that exact report. The 7 big mistakes that business owners are unwittingly making. You see, the beauty of putting that word unwittingly in, it doesn't do this. It's not accusatory because it softens it into the palm up instead of the palm down point. They're unwittingly making. In other words, classic, it's not your fault. So I urge you to put that in. Unwittingly making, unknowingly making. I like unwittingly. I think it's beautiful. It's a lovely soft word, but it gets the point over. The 7 big mistakes business owners are unwittingly making, costing them a fortune in lost turnover, lost profits, and what's even worse, lost personal cash, and how to avoid them. Here's another one of mine. The credibility maze, the 8 little known reasons why most coaching, consulting, and training simply does not work long term, and what to do next. Isn't that great? So, really engaging titles. Let me put those there. There's another one. Lead generation. How to easily avoid the 13 cash burning, time wasting, energy draining mistakes. Mistake number 3 is the big one. Can you see how much curiosity, how much salt is in there? It's really good, isn't it? So, there's just a classic one, just 3 words, the magic matrix. I wonder what that is. I actually have a new video on that one as well. How about this one? This is a tips booklet. So again, this is another idea you could use as a freemium, premium, golden carrot, etc. 117 ways to sell almost anything to almost anyone. So that would be a nice one by me. Right. How about this one? Time management. Oh, this is an 8. I did one as a 7 as well. Time management, the 8 big problems, how to avoid them and squeeze more out of every single day. What about this one? The shocking report, the 7 big mistakes, same again. The 7 series pitfalls, perils and problems in creating and marketing your own informational products and how to avoid them right now. The 7 big mistakes, how to generate a torrent, an ongoing torrent of low-cost, fully qualified prospects who already hold you in high self-esteem, high esteem, and want what you sell. What about this one? This one's called The Ultimate Guide. The Ultimate Guide turns your knowledge into cash. So simple, isn't it? So simple. When you think that you've only got to write 10 to 20 pages, you could do that in an hour. And you could do it in an hour easily because you could dictate it. It's so simple. So rather than particularly writing it, if you wanted to, you could simply dictate it. I might use Mac, so I could be into GarageBand. I could do it in my phone. You go online, you find a virtual assistant somewhere, and you will get that transcribed for about, so this could date it slightly, but for about $1 to $2 per minute. So if you'd spoken for 40 minutes, which would probably be plenty, probably even only just 20 minutes, then you would have for $20, $40, $80, $100, you'd have your free report. Isn't that brilliant? So, and of course, having got the free report, you could then use that as the basis for a book. You could use it for a tips booklet. You could use it for 3 chapters. You could use it as the script for a 1-hour training course. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Now, I've got a template for you. That's an example of it, but I've actually got the template here. Let me just move my various notes around. Get this to the next bit, okay. The title, yes, another point about the title. Really clear who it's aimed at, what the problem is, and the promise of the solution. Let me say that again. Who it's aimed at, so it's really clear. The 7 big mistakes that business owners, there you go, business owners unwittingly make. The 7 big mistakes, so there's the problem, right? And now we've got the pain of the problem, costing them a fortune in lost turnover, lost profits, and what's even worse, lost personal cash. There's the problem, and identified and expanded, and how to avoid them. There's the promise. So person, problem, promise of the solution. That's how to write the title. The title is really important. In fact, it's so important because probably the only thing most people are ever going to see is the title, and they're probably going to download it based on the title and the little bit of copy that you put with it. Okay? Makes some sense, doesn't it? Okay. So the pitfalls are these. Don't try and include too much. If you've got loads of information to share, then split it into 2 or 3 different reports. Let me do that. Here is the template for you. This is the template. Yeah, it's a 2-pager here, and this has got the 7 big mistakes on, and it's all laid out in the way in which I've described it, so you can download that PDF, and then either you can type in it or you can print it and you can write it or do whatever you want to do with it. Now, where can you use these? Well, you can use them on social media, you can use them email marketing, you can use advertising, you can use pay-per-click, you can use it on your homepage, of course, absolutely on your homepage. You can have it anywhere. And now, on top of that, you've got this master maps, because success leaves clues, this is all part of the Ultimate Lead Generation System. So, what I suggest you do is you go and find the Ultimate Lead Generation System training program within the Achievers Club. Have a look at that as well. Create your free report, use it in the way that I described. If you've got any questions or queries whatsoever, then always come back to me. It's peter@theachieversclub.com. And if I can help you in any way, just let me know. I know from my own personal experience over 25 years that using lead generation ideas like this, and over the last 20 plus years, using a free report as a golden carrot works like gangbusters. I urge you to take it away and use it, and I wish you every success in all your adventures in life. From me, Peter Thompson, until the next time, bye for now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos, then click to watch the next video. Remember to visit our website at peterthompson.com and download your free copy of my latest book, How to Write Your Business Book in 5 days or less. Until next time, every success.